I'll be moving forward with HTML. So you guys know the abbreviation of this. It's called text markup language. Instead of role, what we can define HTML as is used to provide the structure in the web page. Okay, so it is used to provide the structure in the web page. So this is the role of HTML, or you can consider this as the role, or you can probably consider this as the definition as well. You can define HTML as something which is used to provide the structure in the web page. Okay, web page. Now, if we talk about markup language, it is a language which supports the content, or I'll keep it very short. We can elaborate this later on. It is something which supports language which supports uh, only tags. Okay, tags. So see, markup language is something, it is a type of language which supports only tags in it. Okay, so I don't know, I'm not aware like if everyone has weaved the HTML page or not. If some of you have weaved it, that's good. You must have noticed that whatever you see in HTML page, it will be in the form of tags. Now if we talk about a tag, what is a tag? Tag is nothing but this particular thing what I have in the screen. It is nothing but open brace and the close brace. This is nothing but a tag. Okay, this is nothing but a tag. We don't have any specific definition for the tag, because whatever encloses something is referred to as tag. But then again, if we talk about markup language, since I'm talking about markup language which supports only tags, so it takes the help of these what do we say, symbols what you see on the screen, and this is referred to as tag when it comes to markup language. Okay, so this is a tag. Whatever you see currently on the screen is referred to as a tag. Now let us, try to know the types of markup languages that are, very frequently used. So HTML is one of them. We know HTML. See, it is a type of markup language. Then again, it is a hypertext markup language. We'll talk about hypertext, what exactly hypertext means. And then apart from this, see, I'll just have section created here, types of markup languages. First one is HTML. And see, actually if we talk about markup languages, I know only two popular markup languages. One is HTML, which is very frequently used, and alongside HTML there is one more markup language which is frequent. So you guys know what HTML is. It is something specific to the browser which provides the structure to the web page. But what exactly XML is? Okay, so XML stands for extensible markup language. Okay, extensible markup language. So extensible markup language refers to the role of this XML file is to again have tags, support the tags, and it helps in assisting the servers usually. So XMLs are generally the ones which will help in assisting the servers. There will be every IDE or whatever you use will have some servers, and those servers require some configurations. Like when you want your application, as I said yesterday, when you want your application or business layer of the application to communicate with the presentation layer, you will take help of servlet. Okay, so whenever you want to configure a servlet, see, servlet is something like which cannot be utilized just because, I take a name servlet. It's never, it doesn't mean that, it is utilized in the application unless, until and unless I configure it. Okay, so I'll just have it written here, servlet. Okay, now if I want the servlet to be supported in my application, I have to do some configuration. Some configurations are required. So those configurations can be done in two ways. Okay, two ways. One is using XML. Using XML, you can configure the servlet, and second one is using annotations. You cannot use this annotation when you have a main method on top of, a method, user defined method. You can see this annotation written. Generally you will see this annotation at override when you have the concept of inheritance or typecasting, something like, interface implementation, all that, you will see this annotation. It ensures that the method is overridden. So I'll just mouse over. See, indicates that the method declaration is intended to override a method declaration in the super type. Okay, we will talk about this, someday, because as I said, it is a concept of your inheritance, where or you can also consider interface, where interface will have the method declaration and the implementation class of interface will have the method definition. Okay, so in those cases you will see this annotation. This is nothing but annotation at whatever starts with at in your Java class, and it should be, you can recognize it by using the, with the help of the color, and the color will be gray. Okay, so I'll not use it here, it's not the right place to be used. Okay, I'll go back. So that is annotation, so using XML. So if there are, if there are certain configurations that are required at application level, and if I as I said, I want some configurations to be done for servlet, so that this servlet can be supported by my application, that can be done in the XML file. Okay, so usually again, if we talk about few of the types, I know like two types of XML: web.xml and then form.xml. Okay, these are the two XML files that are known to me. Usually you will see this. And apart from this, I don't think, we have any more XML files, or they there could be, but I know only two because I have used these two very frequently. Form.xml in Spring, a microservices project, and then web.xml in the dynamic project, that is your web project. Okay, we can learn all these things, but this is not part of HTML. But I just wanted to um, walk you through the extensible markup language, that is XML. So that's all about, XML. The difference is in HTML, you will have some content. You will have the content in the form of tags in HTML, and you will have the content here also in the form of tags in XML. In XML also, in both the cases, tags are something, which is supported, and the difference is XML is case sensitive language and HTML is case insensitive language. Okay, so I wanted to write it here. Okay, so just write it here, case sensitive language. This is case sensitive, and then this is case insensitive. Sorry, this is case insensitive and this is case sensitive. Okay, so I'll just give you an example in today's session, using which, you can understand how HTML is case insensitive, and we are not going to discuss anything about XML anymore. Like, this is all we have, and if we get an opportunity to work on a project, so we will have something called as web.xml here. I'll just quickly open it. Okay, so whatever you see whatever is there inside this file has actually started with a tag. Okay, see, and then it has ended with a tag. See, this entire thing doesn't mean that it is a tag is just this these brackets what we have, the greater than and lesser than symbols what we have, it is referred to as a tag. And when you have this forward slash, you will have this usually at last. This means that the tag which is opened at some at some line in a page. See, line number 2, we have this tag utilized here, and then it is not closed. See, okay, I'll just for you people's understanding, I'll just write that also. This is um, unclosed tag. And when you see forward slash something like this refers to closed tag. See, it is mandatory. See, a difference. One more difference. What we have here is it is mandatory in XML. It is mandatory in XML for the tags to be closed. Okay, all the tags in XML should be closed mandatorily, and whereas in HTML it is not mandatory for the tags to be closed. So that's another difference what we have in terms of HTML and XML differences. So this refers to a unclosed tag, which means we have a tag which is not closed. And when you want to close a tag, you will have a replica of the same, and then you will ensure that you will add forward slash. Okay, forward slash here. So you can actually see it here. That's what they have done. You can see forward slash web app. So this is the element name. Okay, so this is the name. Actually, you call this entire stuff as an element, XML element. This is a XML element. See, one way of differentiating every document, see, both refer to markup language, markup languages. The HTML is also a part of markup language, XML is also a part of markup language. But then again, differentiating two different files is using the extension. See, here we have .html. This is one, what do we say, like, this is something which you can use to differentiate a HTML file, and .xml extension can be referred to differentiate a XML file. And from definition perspective, you see the tag starts here with XML in XML file, whereas in HTML file the tag starts with HTML. And this has to be, this will be there in every HTML file by default, because some of the browsers will refer to this doc type here refers to document type. So it will be like the web browsers will be trying to recognize if this file is named as HTML. It will some of the browsers will be expecting this, usually, the older version. Nowadays, even if you don't use this, the functionality will still going to be the same. But in earlier versions, you always would require this doc type tag or element followed by HTML. So it is actually trying to know what type of document you are trying to create here. So since it is a HTML, you will pass HTML here. Okay. Then comes the root tag. See, whatever tag you find after this is referred to as a root tag, and it is mandatory to have this HTML tag as the root tag. Okay. And then we have head tag. So usually this is something where you will have your header contents like title of the page. Meta tag refers to, passing some information. This is not mandatory. You can actually configure or create a HTML page without these tags also. These tags are not mandatory. Then you will have body tag will give you an area. All these things, I'll be teaching you again in terms of how body tag occupies the area of a web page, how this h1 tag occupies it, and how HTML tag helps the HTML file consume the area of the page. All those things, that can actually be weaved in the CSS. But since we are focusing on HTML initially, we'll just talk about the tags. We'll not worry about the space consumption on the page by each of the tag that is added in the HTML file. We'll not worry about that as of now. So we have h1 tag. See, h1 actually stands for header. Okay, so h means wherever you find h1 tag, it means that it is a tag that is used to represent a heading. Okay, and then this is added on my own. You don't need any tag, whatever, even without tags, if you want to add something, you can add it. But then again, it will take default CSS properties. Default CSS properties in the sense, like color will be default, that will be black. Font size, every element will have its own font size. I mean the content, uh, I'm talking about the element now. Element refers to the tag. So this entire tag is an element, HTML element it is. So every element will have its own font size. Okay, let me not just give you the overview. What I'll do similar configurations in a notepad file. But then before I proceed, I just wanted to know if you guys have any questions. Head Total six tags are there with you. H1 to H6. Yeah, that's what we'll be discussing about those tags. Don't worry. Okay. So, are you guys clear till here? Like the, what is the role or definition of HTML? What exactly a markup language is? Types of markup languages, HTML and XML differences. See, as I said, HTML is case insensitive, XML is case sensitive, and then other difference is it is mandatory in XML for all the tags to be closed, but it is not mandatory in HTML for all the tags to be closed. Markup language and programming language. As you see, one general difference what I can say, Shivansh, is markup languages are something which support contents in the form of tags. But whereas your programming languages, they deal with the business layer and they don't need any such prerequisites. So this is a prerequisite. Okay, if I want h1 now, here, see, I have h1. So this is the element. H1 is the element here. Okay, HTML element. Now why I'm treating this as h1 as HTML element is this is predefined in HTML library. Okay, so HTML library in the sense, then I don't have to dig into where exactly the memory is and all that. When you configure a .html file and when you have these tags, HTML tag, whatever it is, now the browser has the compatibility to consume the properties, default properties. This will have its own font size, and all these are predefined. Okay, something which is predefined should be enclosed with the tags. Okay, only then you will get the specific properties. Okay, I'll show you the demo for this, then you guys will understand. um, to answer your questions, Evans, that's a general difference between a programming language and a markup language. Markup languages do support contents in the form of tags. Only then you will get the specific functionality. If not, if you have something written without tags, so it will be displayed with the default properties, default font size, default font style. So you guys must be aware that font styles are also a part of display. So that is also, that also will be considered in HTML. But all that is part of CSS, which have been pre-configured for each and every tag. H1 has some has its own font size. Now there are tags from H1 to H6. So I just have written here H6. So if you see this, H6 also has some CSS properties. And if we talk about the font size, which is quite common, it will be different when you compare the font size with H1. Okay, so this is configured, this is predefined, and this is pre-configured in such a way that every tag is meant to use for a purpose. Okay, let's say I want to have a heading with bigger font size. I don't have to write what happens if I have a user defined tag. The tags, see, every predefined tag in HTML has its own functionality, has its own function. H1 has its own functionality. It will give different font size than H6. If we talk about H6, H6 has its own functionality of displaying the content. So that's that's how the tags have been configured in HTML. We will quickly see now on the screen is sufficient to have a HTML file created where I have the content which I want to be which I want to display in the web page. That is, hey there. Okay, so this is the content I want to display, and I want this to be displayed as a header. Okay, heading of that particular web page. Okay, so now I have to run this page. What I'll do, I'll just save this. So always ensure that whenever you are using Notepad or any other, writer, like content writer, so ensure that it is saved as .html. So it will ensure that the document is saved as a HTML document or HTML file rather than the default one. So the default here is .txt. So I'll quickly save this, then I'll go back, I'll go to that folder where I have this document saved. So in the documents, then web. So yeah, see, now you can actually see I saved it as demo.html. You can see the icon here. Okay, so it is a browser icon. So which means that HTML is something which is designed to function for browsers. Okay, since I have configured Chrome to be the default browser for my system, so since I saved the document as, see, type of the document Chrome HTML document, it is treating it as Chrome HTML document. Now if you want to view the output, what you have to do, you just have to right click and open. Okay, observe the font size. I have something called as this is referred to as DevTools. Okay, this is something which is referred to as DevTools, where you can actually weave the what do we say, like the structure of not the content but the structure of the HTML. Okay, what is there in that particular document. See, I added the head tag and I have closed the head tag. Okay, I'll show you here. I have not added it, but by default, it has been added on its own, just to ensure that the contents are separated. If there are any contents as part of headers, like the title of the page. See, title refers to this one, demo.html. Now I want to change this title. What I can do is I can go here. I have to add a tag. Okay, let me just try and add title directly. Since we have latest version of browser, all this I'm assuming it to be under the header section or outside the header section. Let us see. Even I'm not so sure. I'll give this as our first page. I've saved this. All you need to do is you don't have to do anything. Just reload the page. Okay, now where is the content which I just added? Where is the title? Where do you guys see the title? Not here. I'll close this DevTools for a while. Okay, where do you guys see the title which I just added? So it is right here. See, Earlier it was demo.html. See, if no title is there, it will take the file name. If you want to change the title of that particular web page, you can use title tag, and you can pass whatever title you prefer giving to the web page. So I'll open the DevTools, right click, click on inspect. That's all you have to do in order to access the DevTools. Okay. So yeah, see, I assumed it to be inside the head tag, and it is right inside the head tag, not outside. So this is the standard structure. Okay, even if I don't have head tag added here, by default the browser has added the head tag on its own. As soon as I clicked on content, that is here, you see it is highlighted in the blue color, padding nothing. So see here. So this is having its own font size, and then H2 has slightly lesser font size than H1, and the same thing continues. The Okay, let me go back to the file. Okay, with the number of tags, what the number of header tags what we have is from H1 to H6. I'll add H5 and H6 also. H4 and H6, H5, H6, H5. So these are the 6 header tags that are available for different font sizes and different headings. So I'll just reload this yet again. Okay, you see the size is decreasing with respect to the tags. That's how the tags have been pre-configured in HTML. Okay, in the library it has been pre-configured with its own font size, whereas font style will remain same. I think font style here is Times New Roman only. Yeah, I assume it to be Times New Roman, but then again, we can investigate about the font size, font style, the color, and everything in the CSS. No need to worry about all that. But as of now, we just have a structure here, that is some content. Any content, whatever you see in the web page is referred to as a structure. Okay. Then now, if I don't have all these things, for a while I'll just remove this. I'll just save this. You have nothing. You have nothing. You still have a HTML page, but you don't have anything. So that's the role of HTML. It helps you have a structure in the web page. Now this is, I am assuming this to be a structure. This is a part of structure. I want a header. I have it. Okay. Until and unless I add it using the HTML tags, I'll not see it. Okay. So this is how the tags work, heading tags. So you can see Tomcat version 8.0 server at localhost. Okay, so this is a substitute, like domain. Instead of live domain, I'll be just using localhost, and with the help of this, whatever web application I have developed, I'll be able to access it. So that's how you make your application accessible by others, by having a domain. HTML is case insensitive. Now I made this tag from I made the element of this tag from lowercase to uppercase, but the functionality with what has been configured, with something which is pre-configured, it is still giving us the same functionality, same font size, same font style, and the background color black. Nothing has changed. But now let me try to add something separately, like new content added. Now when I add this content, what happens is, no, I'm not making use of any HTML tag here or HTML element. Just observe this carefully, that I'm adding it in the web page. Okay, now let me run this. See, you see the variation in the font size, as well as the font style, and the color is a little bit lighter than what you see in the about tags. Okay, so this is the default one, which is configured by the browser on its own. If anything is added, like here, if you can see, I have added first name without any tag. Okay, so when I add any such thing, the HTML ensures that it does not throw error. As I spoke earlier, markup languages are something which supports the content in the form of tags, but that doesn't mean that everything has to be in the form of tags. Obviously, 80% or 90% of its contents will be enclosed within the tags, like what you have here inside the tags. But then again, if you want to add anything separately, you can still add it without tags. Then those uh, those contents will have default properties, like default font size, default font style, color, the display format. Everything will be a default. Okay, so no matter what you add after this, whatever you want, you can add. Okay, it will continue to display in the same format. So this is the concept of block level element and inline element. Okay, you see this. See, this is the body tag. See the area of the body tag. Whatever content I'm adding, it is ensuring that it is inside the body tag. And obviously, even if I go and remove this, I'll just remove this and let us see what happens. I assume it to add a tag. I assume Chrome to add a tag on its own. Let's, let's close this. Reload the page. Okay, I've reloaded the page. Inspect. Okay, you can see here, this is the standard format. As I said earlier, HTML is the root tag. Then you will have head tag. This is optional. If you don't have it in the background, the browsers will add it just to ensure that if there are any contents related to header sections, that will be formatted separately and rearranged. And then we will have body tag, inside which all other tags will be added, and whatever contents are added inside the tags are going to be displayed inside the body tag. So it's not like, as I said, some of the tags are not mandatory. If you fail to add it with the latest browser availabilities, the browsers have the capability of adding a few of the tags on its own. But always ensure you follow the format. It's not, just if the browser is doing its job, it doesn't mean that every browser will do it. Not every browser has the capability of adding some standard things on its own. So it depends. We will not be so sure if Chrome would be able to add HTML tag if I miss this. Okay, but if I'm assuming that every browser will add the contents on its own, I'm wrong. Okay, I'm not so sure, like which browser is going to not add, and then all of a sudden it will result in inappropriate display structure, or sometimes you'll not even see the content. So that's why always follow the format. Like it's always good to have a body tag configured. About how to change the text color. Okay, so that is part of CSS, but then again I'll just do a simple configuration here. I'll close. So if I do this, the color will change from black to red. Okay, so it is as simple as you just write a line of code inside the text, or background. Also, background is also possible. I'll just show you now here. Background dash color colon uh, sulfur yellow. Okay, so you see the background is a yellow color. Now I'll make a error here. Okay, I'll make a error. I'll just remove the semicolon. I'll pass comma. As I said, there is no compilation. We have to identify the errors on our own. See, I have no, I don't see any changes despite having CSS configured here. See, I still would be wondering where exactly I have done the error. Okay, so there is no way that you can identify an error in HTML and CSS, but JavaScript gives you a privilege to identify where exactly you have made the error. When we learn JavaScript, I'll show you where it is. But then in this case, one way of identifying it is despite passing the CSS properties, you don't see the format that is expected. That is, I wanted the text color to be blue and background color to be yellow. It is because we have a standard here when you use style tag and when you are passing multiple properties. Okay, multiple properties like color is blue and background color is another property. The separator should be semicolon, it should not be comma. So that is the error that I have made. Okay, so this is how it works, and there are a lot of CSS properties. You can text align. You can align this to center by using one more property called as text align and all that. Let me add that now. Align. Okay, so you see the text has been aligned to center. So this is how with the combination of CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, this is how a page is built. This is how a web page is built. So you have a structure here with the background color yellow, text color blue, text aligned to center. This alignment, color assignment, and all that is part of CSS. But then again, if you are learning only HTML, you'll just see what happens if I add a tag here called h7. H7, as per me, is not a predefined tag. It is a user defined tag. It is a custom tag. Okay, so now I'll run this. Start. Okay, so see what's happening here. So the tag has been added, but then again, since I have a new tag called h7, okay, h7, and I have some content added here. Since this tag is not closed, okay, see, it's not mandatory to close the tag, but then again, certain things will get impacted if you don't close it. But then, as I said earlier, if you add any tag after this, but since this is not a HTML tag and this is a custom tag, it is actually the content what I have added here is actually referring to this one. I have not closed. So HTML is assuming that there is no h7. As per its library, there is no h7 tag. So it is thinking that this content belongs to h6. This content belongs to h6. What I'll do, in order to differentiate, for now, I'll just close this h6. Now I'll save this. Okay, I hope you guys got what I said. See, it was like this. See, heading tags are from H1 to H6. H7, whatever you add, it becomes a user-defined tag. Okay, with default some default display format. But then again, since this tag is not defined in HTML and I have added some content here, it is linking this particular content with H6 since H6 is not closed. Okay, so if you want to separate the contents, just close this tag, close this particular tag, and now this ensures that the content is ending here. Okay, we'll go and see the output. Okay, so did you guys see the change? See, this is what happens when you have a custom tag. It will have a default display format, and then I'll just confirm this by adding few more contents. Like I'll take my own tag Roman. I'll not close this. See, there is no change. It's just that having custom tags is nothing but you're just passing the content without any tags. Okay, so you can still use these type of tags. I have used it here just to ensure you guys that the HTML will not throw any error if you have used something out of the library. Okay, so h1 to h6 is predefined, h7 is not predefined, this Roman tag is not predefined, but still I'm using this. Despite that, the functionality is not impacted. We are getting the functionality, and the difference is the for user defined tags it is giving the what is it the default display format. Okay, you can view the content and verify the same here. See, no change between this one and this content, which means that whatever you want you can add, but then again if it is predefined it will give you the functionality as per the pre-configured display format. But if it is not predefined it will use the default display format.